One of the things I really like about the Pro version of SketchUp is having layout. In addition to being able to make presentation documents and dimension plans, it's also a great tool for creating full-sized or scaled patterns for templates. These patterns can be created directly in SketchUp, but it isn't especially intuitive. I frequently get emails from folks using the free version of SketchUp asking how to do this. In a nutshell, it requires adjusting the proportions of the drawing window to suit the size of the paper. A while back, I wrote about a great plugin by Jeff Keim that creates PostScript files. This plugin doesn't require you to change the drawing window size, which is handy, especially if you're still using SketchUp 8 or an earlier version. In the last few days, I've been testing a new plugin which makes printing patterns very simple. Let me show it to you. For this example, I'm using the dragonfly pattern from Nancy Hiller's Little Arts and Crafts wall cabinet that was featured in Fine Woodworking issue number 228. Here's the SketchUp file that I used to create the plan document for this little cabinet. And when I made this, I created a scene specifically for the dragonfly pattern on the door. And I used that in layout then to create a full-size pattern that you would be able to trace from. But let's say you want to use a pattern similar to this for your own work, and you want to print this directly from SketchUp full size. This new plugin called Pixel Perfect will help you do that. We'll go to the Help file and choose Pixel Perfect, and we get a window with some information. It shows us the pixel dimensions, vertical pixel height and pixel width, and gives us some instructions here about dragging the window, and it shows us what the current ratio is. 1.909 is what I see here. That's also displayed down in the lower left corner of the SketchUp window. There's a place where we can enter our own ratio and a title, and then add that ratio for this current session. At this point, it doesn't actually save that ratio for later, but if we wanted to make sure we could return to a specific screen size, we could put that in before we change the screen size. When we're ready to start changing the screen size, all we have to do is click and drag on the edge of the window. We can either work from one edge, the bottom, or a corner, and you'll notice that the background is changing color. When it's red, we're kind of a long way away from any of the preset sizes. I have what I call a normal screen, so it's what I would normally use for drawing, and when I get exactly on that dimension, the screen turns green. You'll notice that when I'm above that, it's kind of a goldish yellow. When you get below the set size, it's more of a lemon yellow. And that's intentional to give you an idea which direction to drag. If you want, US legal size is one of the default settings. There are several others included. A-series or ISO 216 is another. US architectural is an option. Letter size, we're getting, it says letter V, but that's a horizontal letter size. And I'm going to go for a horizontal or a real vertical or portrait shape. There we go. And so now that gives me the proportions of letter size paper in portrait mode. To get out of setting this, we'll just click over in the drawing window space and then hit the space bar to go to the select tool. That closes the plugin. So now if I go to File, Print Preview, I've already set this up once, so I've unticked the box for Fit to Page, and I've also unticked Use Model Extents. I did set the scale so that 1 inch in the printout equals 1 inch in SketchUp. This is if you wanted to do say a half-life size model or printout, you could set that here and say that 1 inch equals 2 inches in the SketchUp file. And down here it shows the page range. This is kind of a key thing to look at. It's showing me from 1 to 1, which indicates there's only one page that's going to print, which is a good thing because I wanted that to show on my single sheet of paper. So I can just click OK, and here the print preview window shows the way that Dragonfly pattern will print on a sheet of letter size paper. So that's pretty straightforward. Once you've made those settings for print preview, you can go ahead and either click on print, or you could make changes to your model and then just click File and Print. This plugin also works in the Mac operating system, which is nice. It's not going to be very useful for people who have remained using SketchUp 8 or an earlier version, because the toolbars get stacked as you change the size of the drawing window. If you have been using SketchUp 8 or 7 or an earlier version, you've probably seen that already. And so you're going to want to update to the current version. When we drag this back, you can see here my toolbars are just kind of overlapping each other here as I reduce the size of the window, but when I come right back out, it's perfect. The toolbars are all laid out exactly as I had them before. I could go back to the Pixel Perfect plugin and drag this back until I get my green window. And there we go. Click in space and hit the space bar to get the select tool, and I'm back to my normal setup. So this plugin should be released here very shortly, and I will post a link in the blog post as soon as I've got it. Give it a try if printing to scale is something that you'd like to be able to do.